It is the Riot Podcast. Hello, I am Hudson. Nikki is here.
Good day.
It is a Thursday.
It is. Yeah, we're almost done with another week.
Yes, thank goodness.
See, Hudson, with taking over for Obi, I was thinking first, I'm really enjoy having you in.
Oh, thank you.
I really
it's good
truly
to be
mean
here.
that. It's been super fun. And then I kept thinking the other day, I was like, wow, it's really flying by, which is why before you know it, we'll be like 10 years into this.
Yeah, right.
It's like, how long have I been doing the show?
We're getting there.
It's a hole that you just fall into.
Well,
so.
It'll just it'll feel like 10 years and 1 month all at once.
That's right. So one more podcast coming out tomorrow, but then we'll be down another week.
And tomorrow, I'm already looking forward to it because one, it's the end of the week. Mm-hmm. The two, we've got Mexican street corn Cheetos that we're going to be trying.
We're going to do a food fight. So we always remind you guys to pay attention to our Facebook page at RadioU Riot, our YouTube channel, which is also under RadioU Riot. So when you're a podcast listener, you don't get to actually experience like our whole morning show. Mm. But if you head over there, you can check out extra stuff we do, and then you can watch our food fight. So that'll be tomorrow.
Yes. So in the podcast today, we talk about how in Texas, they're dealing with a heat wave, and they're also simultaneously telling people to not use their air conditioning.
Oh, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, it's funny in a way, but it is real. Like if you're actually going through it, and we actually got some text from people who are, there's not a lot funny about it at all.
If you're in Texas or another state that's getting that heat wave, I feel really bad because it's not. I feel like when it's a cold thing, even though I don't like that either, you can at least add layers.
Right.
But in heat waves, there gets to a point where there's nothing else you can do.
You can only strip off so much, and that only helps so much too.
I know. You're just there, still in the hot air.
Yep, and then you're sweaty and sticky and
thank you.
Yeah, so that's in the podcast. We also get to the Gorilla Glue girl because she's back in the news. And you would think like maybe she doesn't just want to be known for that, but it kind of feels like she's just going to be known for that and just accepting it. The first Royal Caribbean cruise was postponed.
Yeah.
That's in the podcast. And
which means if you had seats or a cabin at the Odyssey, please pay attention.
Yeah, you're going to need to reschedule on that one. And I like the story about the water slide in New Jersey that went up in flames. There's a whole lot of questions, and we demand answers.
Well, wait to hear about it, and then let us know your thoughts. Text and say hi, 877-2-RADIO-U, or message at RadioU Riot while you're there checking out our other stuff on Facebook.
Yes, so we'll catch you tomorrow for the street corn Cheeto taste test and a whole lot more.
Have a great day.
Thanks for watching.
Bye. Thanks for watching. Someone's like, wait, I can watch this?
There's not a lot to see.
Not being offered right now.
No, it's not. It is the Riot.
You almost missed hearing this one. We just couldn't let that happen. The worst of the Riot. RadioU.
The pandemic, it wasn't good. But there were certain things about it, like the social distancing. It's like, all right, I think we can stick with this. I think a lot of us are much more comfortable when we have to stay 6 feet apart.
I think we were more comfortable and excited about some changes about not having to be around people or staying inside for a bit, just a bit more like inside house time.
Yep. Alone time.
Or like if you had roommates or just quiet time.
Yeah.
A lot of quiet time.
Well, there was some certain positives of the pandemic, and I thought maybe one of them was that you didn't have people coming to your door anymore.
I know, wasn't that nice?
It was so nice. And that all changed last night, where that's making a comeback, evidently, at least in my house, where I got a door-to-door salesman.
You did?
I didn't even used to have to deal with them that much. They weren't so bad in my neighborhood, and because before I took over the Riot, I wasn't even home, like later in the day when they would be around. But man, I had a guy come to my door last night, and he would not let it go. He was
was he selling?
He was doing pest control.
Oh, I had that last week.
And I love the first thing. I've got to give him credit because he did have a good opener. Although he didn't quite seem fully confident if I'm going to rate his performance. He wasn't he felt like he was still feeling things out. But he goes, I'm with the pest control. We do the pest control. And then he names like 8 of the supposed neighbors in the area. And I was like,
Wait,
you got me. I have no idea who my neighbors are.
That's my same one. Is he the guy who rides the little, it's not like the little, what's the scooter thing?
I don't
with
know.
the batteries that used to blow up?
I didn't see that.
Oh.
But the guy I got was like, surprisingly, I was like, how are you old enough to be allowed to do this?
To sell this stuff?
Yeah, like he was much younger than I am.
Dude, that's
and I'm not
grumpy
that
door
old.
stuff.
Yeah. But I loved how because you might be doing it for my neighbors. I have no idea because I don't know their names. So
Yeah,
you just
they got ya.
You got me on that one. And then but from there, like, he gives me the whole pitch and like I'm just going with it because I know I'm going to say no. It doesn't matter. It's just like trying to come up with the best excuse.
The way to get out of it.
But any excuse I had,
he had.
It's like he had a tree in his mind, and every branch I could take off, he had another branch, 3 branches he could add on, and he just knew. It was rough. I could not get him to go away.
Yeah.
But again, he was so young, and yet he kept pulling out these lines like he was from the 1950s. He was like, "It'll keep the missus happy," and I'm like,
Maybe
what
he
century
Googled
is
the best
this?
lines, to try to sell stuff. The thing that you have to remember, though, even with not having a lot of people that come to your door for a while, you don't have to open your door.
Yes,
we
that's
don't
what
have to to talk to them.
It was so late that I thought, and I had just gone outside to take out the garbage or something. So I was like,
emergency or
right, maybe
yeah.
the neighbor saw me out and I don't know, dropped something or so I don't know. Like I just thought that it had to be somebody that I knew or that at least had a good reason to be there, and it was not. And
okay, well, you want to know the other trick?
What's that?
Okay, you have to know the names of a couple of the pest controls because they come through my neighborhood like with a vengeance.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, everybody, but I just lie and say I'm with one of the other ones.
Well, here's the problem. After he told me that,
I'm just like, I'm already fine. Thank you so much, though.
Well, you would think that would be the right answer. But he started with, we do the pest control for this Sanders and those people and those. And I'm like, okay. And he says, so first question, do you have pest control already? And maybe he asked because he knew the answer was no.
Sure.
But still, that's a bold question to open with if you think the answer could be yes and you could be shut down right there.
Wow.
So he would have had a branch off the tree but guess what? We can do it for a better price or we'll do a more comprehensive or whatever. So it was rough. And the problem I have, Nikki, is that I don't want to be too mean because I don't want to.
You don't want to be that
I'm
person?
way too patient. I don't want to be the beginning of his superhero or his villain origin story.
Well, you didn't say no enough to where he's outside our front door.
Yeah.
He's trying to continue to get you to sign up. He's here.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Yes. He really wouldn't go away even after I closed the door on him.
You mean like a pest?
I'll tell you who.
I'll tell you who I need pest control from.
See, that's the line I should have used. I'll tell you who's the pest, and then that would have been his supervillain origin story. And he's like the Joker, and it's my fault because I used Nikki's too good of a closer
and shut the door in his face.
Yep, on this pest control man.
And never answer the door again.
Yep, and that's a lesson. Even if it's an emergency, my neighbors I don't know their names anyway, so I guess they're just gonna have to.
But you do
go to
know
the
who does their
themselves.
pest control.
That's right, supposedly.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
There's a story taking the world by storm, at least it looks like it on Twitter, and that is Victoria's Secret is totally changing up what they're doing. At least that's what the story makes it seem like, that they're all of a sudden a totally different company.
And I think that's a pretty strong thing of it's going around the world by storm. Like it's taking everybody off guard. And I don't know how many people are actually talking about it.
Right. Well, yeah, Twitter isn't real life, but it is. It feels like a big news story because they are. I mean, it's kind of hard to say exactly what's changing. It says they're saying goodbye to angels.
I think that's their style of, that's the supermodels they use.
Right.
And then they do that big, like, Christmas show or something.
Right. I don't know. There's some kind of big event with it. And I know they do, especially because there's a picture here that they do, like, angel outfits. That's a part of the runway show. And I guess I don't know if they're actually literally not doing the angel costumes anymore, but that doesn't feel
wings?
like that's what's making or breaking Victoria's Secret. You know what I mean? Like I know it's their thing,
Sure,
but I don't know. Is that what people are thinking of?
I think they're just doing away with the supermodel side of things.
Yes.
And they say that instead they're ready to launch a campaign with just high profile everyday women. So it'll be, there's a soccer star.
Yeah.
It feels like in the meeting, like, what's the, like Barbies? It feels like they're picking each job Barbie does.
Right, yes.
They're still very, nicer looking, not necessarily still normal looking people.
Yeah. I don't know. I always thought that, like with Victoria's Secret, it's not just that they only pick the one style of woman.
Yeah.
That was always what they would do, but it was also kind of. It's a lot of that, but a lot more of just the way they parade them around and the whole messaging around it. And all that included with the one style of woman that they would always pick. Until now, they've changed it up.
The very pretty one.
Right.
Who are still women too, you know?
Right,
They're just
I mean, there
pretty.
should be room for all kinds, and that's great.
Well, everybody was kind of mentioning, though, that, and this is kind of funny, I don't like when I feel like companies are doing this to us. They're just changing the advertising.
Right.
And putting a different spin on it, but really the heart of Victoria's Secret, like with its company and the issues they've had with the owner and the workers there. It seems like this is to just, look over here.
hey guys.
Over there, normal people.
How about instead of objectifying pretty women, we objectify all women of all different kinds? Can we do that?
I don't know. I we're just looking through this, just like, but what are we doing about that side?
Right.
And it doesn't seem like they have as many answers with that.
Yeah,
so.
I know it's going to be seen as a big win for, just diversity and stuff like that. And that's good. It's not a bad thing to have all of that. It's just like it's dealing with a surface problem.
Yeah, that's perfect.
We're covering up the surface, but still there's deep ingrained other issues that we're still going to have to handle.
I think that's the perfect way to say that.
Yeah, and I don't know what we're going to do about Victoria's Secret. Guess I don't know.
Well, I guess you're listening. You're like, that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Yep. We have
nothing at all.
Yep. Well,
except that now, we won't have here. You're also not allowed to wear any wings. We don't have the doorway stuff for it. You can't get through things.
Yeah. I won't be wearing my Victoria's Secret garb.
Not
around.
with how cold it's been in the studio.
No, it's not. Yeah, that would be a whole nother problem.
We need some sort of like outerwear company, or just we need something like that where like we're adding layers.
Wear the Victoria's Secret hoodies. Is that acceptable?
I was thinking a parka, but that's fine.
There we go.
Lower your expectations enough and you'll never be disappointed. You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
In New Jersey, there is explain to me how this happens. A water slide that went up in flames. It's at Mountain Creek Water Park. And fortunately, the good news is it was while the park was closed.
I think that's probably why there wasn't water going through it.
Yeah, maybe. But I didn't even know that. Like, what do they make water slides out of that it's flammable?
If you look at it, it's like the dock or the steps that you go up to the top of it.
Oh, yeah. I guess there's a lot of wood that would be there.
It's all on fire.
Yeah.
And then it looks like then from there, the tubing sort of catches on fire.
Okay.
It's a big one.
Yeah. It's funny because it's called high anxiety.
It is.
Can we agree? Like, are we okay with naming water slides and other attractions after mental health issues? Can't we put that behind us?
Well, what do you expect them to, like roller coasters?
Well, I guess now they should name it like Inferno or something like that.
We're running out of okay things to call things.
Yes,
so we don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if I would feel comfortable on the high anxiety. I mean, now I sure wouldn't because you wouldn't be able to get up there. But
how about high but manageable anxiety?
That's right. Anxiety that can be treated with medication.
Yes, and it's all okay.
Mindfulness exercises.
Oh, well, you don't have to worry about it because it has burned. So.
Yeah, it's gone down in flames, and I mean, I don't know. I still there's no mention in the story of how it got started. It's just the park was closed. So wait, wouldn't nobody be there? Like anybody to start a fire? It just spontaneously combusted.
Well,
There's got to be more that they're not telling us.
I think we're making a mystery out of maybe it was lightning or what else starts fire?
If it was just
a person,
a match.
a match. What? Maybe something like that.
No,
maybe
if it was so simple, why wouldn't they just tell us? I think there's something that's going on at this
Something's
water park. Something that we need to know about.
So they say that the park will still welcome back guests for the season's opening, which is this Saturday. But the mystery remains.
The mystery remains.
Of the high anxiety water slide, and why did it burn down right before? What message was someone trying to send?
I think I want to be there, not to go on the other waters.
They had another thing they were in trouble with.
Yes, they've been protesting lately. But I want to be there for the opening, not to ride the other rides, but to get some answers about where this fire started and what is going on at this park that is a mystery that's being shrouded in doubt and secrecy.
So, Laura, I don't know. That's a good point. High Anxiety, I guess, is an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's named
so now
after...
we can name movies after mental health as well?
Well, that's an older movie.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. So, wait, and now... This is almost worse. We're naming a water park ride in 2021 after an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
They didn't say.
Is this a water park for seniors?
I don't know. You are overthinking it. It's just a water park ride that burned to the ground. No one's questioning it. You know, unless you want to get into the police field. I don't know what else we can do about this.
You know what I want to do? I want to start a podcast and really make this into more of a thing than it is and get some listeners out of it and maybe sign a Spotify deal.
You know what?
They'll give us a podcast to anybody.
I'll be behind you to help, okay?
Yeah, I need you.
With it.
I need you to be the sensible one, and I'll be out on the conspiracy theory.
That's the tiring one. That's why I'm so tired.
If you're looking for all the funny moments you missed during the riot, we apologize. You won't find them here. There weren't any. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
The cruise industry, someone's just looking down and laughing at the cruise industry right now.
You think so?
Because it seemed that finally Royal Caribbean and the other cruise lines are going to be able to start doing their runs again. And they were actually scheduled to have their inaugural ship since the pandemic, the Odyssey, was going to be sailing starting on July 3rd.
Yeah.
But that's been pushed back.
Oh, because
multiple
Please don't
vaccinated
Don't say it.
crew members tested positive for the coronavirus.
Do you see, guys? We can't trust anything.
And it said that I think they had gotten the virus when they were partially vaccinated, so that's why it was more likely to break through. But even still, when you're partially vaccinated, according to this article, you are 81% less likely to get the virus, but that's still not 100%. And so, but what are the odds that not just one, but two of them would both come down with the virus, which means now they've had to push back the test one that they were trying to do before they got the actual inaugural ship going, and then the inaugural ship, the Odyssey, will not be setting sail until July 31st now from
so that's
Florida.
pushed in. I want to be in that meeting because it's been very controversial because of them saying what I think you got down to, if you were vaccinated, you could, but you had to show proof.
Yep.
But then, like in Florida, they're like, nah, you can't. So, like, where these?
So they're charging. They were. I don't know if they're still planning on this, charging more for if you are not vaccinated because you're going to have to get tested and stuff.
Yeah, you can still take the cruise, but you have to go through different steps.
Which, by the way, I just thought of this. Isn't it kind of, because they sail out of other places, not just Florida. If they were so concerned about everyone's safety, wouldn't they just say, you know what? The safety of our crew members and the people on this boat, our passengers, it would be better for the safety if we just don't sail out of Florida because we think it's so safe. It's so unsafe to not get vaccinated.
It's just because it's such a big I mean, that's where a lot of cruise ships go from.
Yeah.
But then you have this where they thought they had the thing together, and then you're like, nope, it is vaccinated people that both got sick.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go on a cruise anyways, but this is a lot of drama.
Somehow, even if you are vaccinated, you go on a cruise, you're going to get the virus. It's just you're going to get some virus.
Oh, I would think you'd still want to go wear a mask because, there's other cruise diseases from cruise ships.
Maybe we should the new cruise thing should just be wear a hazmat suit the whole time.
Yeah,
Maybe it'd be harder to work on your tan.
I was going to say,
other than that, at least you won't spend the whole trip in the bathroom or, blowing your nose or whatever.
You come back from your trip and they're like, oh, and it's just a tiny sliver at your ankles that's gotten tan.
And your face, because that shield thing has been like magnifying the sun. Your face is burnt. The rest of your body is as pale as the bleak midwinter.
Maybe it's because we've never been on a cruise, but it feels like there is just so much. Like I'm sure that plenty of people have had wonderful cruise trips.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's a lot more, so you're only hearing a small part of the bigger picture.
Yeah, they don't put the fun cruises in the news.
They don't. And I'm sure it's just fine, but every time I read a story, I'm like, what goes on these cruises?
It does not appeal to us whatsoever. And part of it is the health concerns. Part of it is, to me, I just don't want to be out at sea.
Yeah.
I don't like that idea either. And can we also talk about how there was 2 crew members who tested positive out of 8? What, do they have no other crew members?
Well, they say 6 of 8 crew members tested positive, did not display any symptoms. 2 had mild symptoms.
Oh, so it's 8 that tested positive.
Yeah,
okay.
All 8 were quarantined.
Yeah.
They're being closely monitored. The boat had 1,400 crews, crew members on board.
Okay, so 8 out of 1,400.
Well, still.
I mean, it's enough to sideline it, but it makes it feel less like, man, the odds are really stacked against them.
They were vaccinated.
They really got a bad hand.
On June 4th, they were considered fully vaccinated tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
they almost made it.
Yeah, the positive cases were identified after the vaccination was given, but before, I guess they say they were fully effective, so they maybe shouldn't have gotten everybody on board yet.
Yeah, I guess
Probably would
not.
have been best.
Yeah, oh well. Well, one day they'll cruise again. One day.
You're basically listening to a real-time cringe compilation. This is The Riot on RadioU.
I'm just going to come out and say it. God cares about like your money situation right now, or just any of the standard, all of those issues that I guess what I'm trying to say is we kind of think of God sometimes as like, well, he cares about how you feel, like he understands if you're upset and he'll help you with that. But that kind of leaves out a whole big part of God where God sees what you are dealing with when it comes to how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to deal with my car troubles? Like all the real, like the actual tangible issues you're going through in life, not just how you feel, but like, I don't know how I'm going to make it through today because I don't know how I'm going to pay for this, or I don't know how I'm going to like go to work and deal with this person. Like the actual stuff that you really is in real life for you. God cares about that stuff too. And not only does he care about it and he sees it, but he can help with it. Seriously, it always it's easy to get it muddled into the like, well, God's going to make you rich if you just pray hard enough. That's not how it works. But God does care. Like God is not going to leave you abandoned where you're thinking, I don't know, I'm screwed. I guess I'm just going to be living out on the street or whatever. God's not going to leave you like that. Jesus sees what you're going through and he will take care of you. That matters to him, that you are provided for, that you are taken care of, and he will find a way. And if you're ready for that, a God that actually cares about the real stuff that you're dealing with, start talking to him. Find out about it. Say, hey, God, I'm dealing with this. I know you know that. And so I want you to show me how you're going to help. Like, do something for me here to get me through this because I'm struggling and I need you to get me through.
I know we sometimes feel like we don't have to be, or we shouldn't be as honest with him.
Yeah.
But when you're really going over the things that you have going on, not just feelings, but just everything in your life,
well, there's also,
it gets easier and easier to talk to him about it.
There's also definitely a side of like, because you're not seeing God in front of you, you're like, well, how's he going to put money in front? You know, like, how is he going to deal with this thing that's right in front of my face that I have to handle
well, you'd
here?
be surprised how that can all end up working out when you're just open and honest.
It really does work. So first thing, maybe go to RadioU.com/free gift. We give you a good starting point right there. And from there, like, seriously, just say, hey, God, I need some help here. I'm dealing with a lot. And then let him talk to you. Give him some time to show you what he can do, and he will. RadioU.com/free gift.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
I knew this was going to happen back when it happened to her.
Yeah.
I knew that was what's going to happen to this lady.
Gorilla Glue Girl. You may know that. Well, she is Gorilla Glue Girl. I guess I'm trying to say you may know. I started it all wrong. Tessica Brown, you may know her as Gorilla Glue Girl is what I should have gone with.
She's the one back, was it earlier this year, like maybe February or something, that she had the Gorilla Glue stuck on her hair so she couldn't do anything, and she became TikTok famous because of it. Everybody else tried to put the glue in their hair too, and it just became a thing.
It's almost like you read this story before.
I know. I remember it. We remember it well. And then she had to go to LA, and they had to, like, it was a surgery to get her hair unglued.
Yeah, she had to have hair surgery, which that can never be good. Well, for her, I guess it's finally paid off because she is now starting her own hair care line called Forever Hair. And it's products that she include a growth oil, a holding spray, and a sleek edge control gel.
So we were trying to look to see, was she just, like the spokesperson for it?
Yeah.
But the lingoing seems like it's her thing.
Yeah, because, like, for example, they say that in the story, like, I guess her main hair care that she would have used, the reason that she wound up putting the Gorilla Glue in her hair, she used to use, or did use, Got to Be Clean, Got to Be Glued, I think it was, spray. And she ran out, and that's why she put the Gorilla Glue. So why wouldn't she be the spokesperson for that? So I think she is actually starting a company on... I mean, maybe she's still like a small investor in the face, and then there's really the people behind it.
It was already created.
Yeah, right.
Because to me, I'm like, hey, that was February, and I know, like, we're already into June. But, like, that's not a lot of time to learn about hair care stuff and to create a product, get it approved.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a lot behind the scenes.
Yeah, there was, I guess, a ready-made company that was already trying to get off the ground, and then they're like, hey, how about you invest, and we'll make you the face of it so that it'll, get us some publicity, which is working because we're talking about it.
It must be hard just to, your
Her hair?
No, I mean, like, your world changes. She had all that. She kind of, it seemed like in the very beginning, she maybe didn't like all the attention.
Yeah.
And then you almost have to accept the attention.
Yep, you just have to live with it.
And just go from there. And I guess it does make sense for her to be associated with hair stuff for the rest of her long days.
what better spokesperson, what better face of a company could you have? She's willing to do anything to make her hair look good. And so she knows.
Well,
she knows.
I think it's the opposite. I don't think it's the best. I mean, she made a mistake with putting the Gorilla Glue in her hair, but she did that.
But to have a perfect head of hair, you have to make a few mistakes.
I guess it's a hair journey, and you're like, Hudson, what do you know?
It is
Hudson
a hair journey.
Has very long hair.
I do. It's luscious, isn't it?
Well, you leave your hat on too often.
I do. But I just run my fingers through it.
I don't understand with your hat. You should just let your hair be free. Wouldn't it be more comfortable?
No, I don't know. No, because I wouldn't. Maybe like physically, my head would be more comfortable, but internally in my mind, I wouldn't be. I would be mentally uncomfortable.
Just have your hair free, and then when it gets long enough, and you're pulling at it as you lean back, and you're pulling your own hair.
Yep.
Oh, it's so
I've
special.
I've been there. Yeah, it's not that long right now, but it's been an experience having it at that point.
Here in the studio, you could just do whatever you want with your hair. So if you
nobody can even see me except you. So at the moment,
we're a team here.
Yeah.
Do you want me to start wearing a hat
Would it make the show better for you if I took my hat off?
No, but again, you're hiding this amazing hair, and I would just be like, "Woo! Look at my hair! Look at all this." is.
Maybe one food fight. I'll let it all out just for one show.
I can see a lot of people very jealous about how your hair is.
That will drive the numbers up.
Something to listen to when you meant to work out but tripped into a box of donuts. This is Radio U's Worst of the Riot.
The heat wave is coming. Well, I think it's already here around part of the country.
Yeah, it depends on which area you're at, but some have had some really, really hot times.
Yes, and it's bad timing for Texas, where they have their own power grid. Sometimes until this winter, they like to brag about that. They're like,
actually, I don't think most of us realize that.
Really? Because I remember always hearing it was like, Texas, we could secede. We don't even need you because we have our own power.
I guess. I just never caught that. Like our states and other states, we all... grab from other places.
Yeah, I think there's 3 power grids. There's one that does like more of the east, one that does the west, and then one in Texas.
And then Texas was hit really bad with that ice storm.
Yep.
And that's when it all had problems.
Yes, a lot of hidden issues were revealed at that point, and now they're coming out and rearing their head once again.
It's a learning time, and I just feel bad when in Texas you're having to be the one learning.
Yeah, seriously, because they are they would be the Electric Reliability Council of Texas. They are saying that they are advising Texans to try to ease the strain on the power grid that they're experiencing right now because Monday, or which day was it? Earlier this week was the highest strain, like the highest electricity demand they've ever experienced.
Oh, wow.
And that was before the heat wave.
Oh, gosh.
Now, what they're doing is saying, we want you to try to avoid using so much electricity. Stop using large appliances such as, say, ovens, washing machines, dishwashers, things like that, which we're good with, right? We're prepared for that.
I was like, listen, I'm not using the oven. We use paper plates.
Yep. If we even use plates at all, it just all comes in a paper bag from Wendy's. So,
it's true.
And Whataburger. We're good.
I can really hang out on just like not washing, this week if you don't want us to use the washing machine. But they said it's just a struggle to generate enough electricity when in conjunction with the high temperatures that they really want people to try this week in Texas to turn off lights, pool pumps.
Yep.
Don't use the large appliances. Don't wash your clothes and don't dry your clothes. For goodness sakes, don't dry your clothes.
Okay. Well, if it's so hot, you can just dry them on the line. So that's fine. Just make sure you put some fabric softener in.
That's true. But there is one thing we didn't mention.
Yes.
That they said you should still do in Texas to help them.
I think we could survive with all the other ones. We can make it work. In fact, it's almost like a little mini vacation because you don't have to do the chores.
I can do that.
But they say, don't turn your air conditioning below 78. During a heat wave.
I can't. I don't think.
No, nobody can.
I know Texas, you celebrate when there's time and you're a good state usually all the time.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of nice aspects about Texas.
I don't know how that would feel. I don't know if I could do that.
Well, you know how it is, at least in my experience. I had when I moved into where I live now, the air conditioner was brand new, and still you can never trust the thermostat.
Yeah.
Because even if it says it's 70, in one room of the house, it'll be like 85.
Yeah,
and the rest of the house will be 65.
That's true.
And so you can't trust that 78. It might be even hotter. It's going to feel even hotter than that when you've got a heat wave outside and you don't have the air conditioner just blowing. So that's just going to be a mess. Nobody can live like that. It's real. I mean, I know everybody lived like that until about 50 years ago, but nobody can live like that.
Listen, we're soft guys. We can't do that. And when times get tough, I turn my air down just to make it a little better.
Right. It just makes life feel that's one of your escapes from life. And now you can't even have that. And they don't want the pool pumps on.
So
you're going to go swim in your algae-filled pool with all the bugs inside and stuff? Is that what we want?
Well, be safe and, be helpful if you can.
Yep.
But I was all with that until they mentioned leaving your thermostat at above 78.
You're just going to have to, get communal air conditioning rooms. Like everybody just goes to one place where they put but then the more people you have in the room, the harder the air conditioner has to work. There's just no solutions except.
If my air was at 78, I'd be calling the company to help me fix it to get it.
Yeah, right.
Like, that is not working for me.
If it was 70 degrees outside and my air conditioner wasn't working, I'd be calling. It's just like, we need some help. At 70 degrees, 78 during a heat wave.
And I know plenty of people are fine with it being above that. We cannot.
Yeah, above that during the winter.
We're at 68 right now, and it's nice.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. So sorry, Texas.
But
wish we could help.
Make sure to work on that. They say this week because they have higher temperatures even next week coming.
I don't know. You're going to be the one. We would be the one person that have our air conditioner turned down so low, and then the whole electricity failed. The whole state goes down. It's like, why were Hudson and Nikki turning down the air conditioner so much?
They'd find you. They'd tell you.
But we'd make up for it by not doing the dishes.
The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
A few minutes ago, we were talking about how Texas, they're experiencing a heat wave. They're also experiencing a very heavy strain on their power grid to the point where they don't know if they can handle it. And so they're asking people to turn down or turn up their thermostats so that...
Oh, no, I heard you. Texas, you heard Hudson. You don't have to turn it up.
Yeah. You have to... Like, they are suggesting 78 or higher. So 78 at minimum.
Oh, for the thermostat?
For your thermostats. And don't use your dishwasher. Don't cook in the oven. Things like that. Which, if your house is over 78 degrees, who would want to cook in the oven?
You don't need
to. You just put it on the sidewalk or something.
Your home is the oven.
Yeah, right.
Well, I feel bad.
It's cooking you.
It is. You're the chicken. You're the rotisserie chicken. Rachel texted in, Texas resident here. The heat wave is terrible. I had the AC set to 71 yesterday in the evening. The temp inside got up to 75, which I know you're like, some people are fine with 75, but when it's a different heat.
It is, especially when it's humid, which I'm sure it is. Yeah.
They say, no way I'm setting it to 78. This is Texas. We do what we want. Did someone say oppositional defiance? Rachel, we're right there with you.
And Dee said that he has friends with smart, I don't know, it's he or she. Dee says that she has friends with smart thermostats, and the electric company is automatically turning them up.
Is that even possible?
I didn't know that it was, but no
that?
wonder. I get emails and little mailers from my electric company all the time, and they're constantly trying to incentivize me to get one. And I guess this is why, so that they can just secretly mess with it.
Well, don't show that to your parents or grandparents, because for the ones that fight moving towards technology and smart devices.
Well, I'm that way too. So
they're always like, I don't want them in my business.
Yeah,
and you're like, but it's convenient.
My thermostat works just fine.
It's my thermostat. It's my house.
Yeah,
and I didn't think they could get in.
I'm smart enough to put on my own temperature. Thank you very much.
That's why I have a smart thermostat, but I never threw away the other one.
Just in case.
I can pop it back on if I need to.
Is this a smart thermostat in the studio?
Yeah, that's a smart one.
I hope they never get a hold. They're just hearing us talking about it. They're going to start messing with it to just get us, get us back for spreading the propaganda. I
think Chris, our engineer, is smarter than them.
Yeah.
So he can probably find a workaround. But for ours, if it gets over a certain temperature, for us DJs.
Yes.
If it gets over 75.
No, it's for the equipment. It's not us.
Hey, we're the equipment. But if it gets over 75, it sends them an alert, because we can't have our stuff actually get too hot.
Yeah. So even if there is a heat wave here at the studios, they can't talk to us.
Well,
we all know we have a safe space here.
This is RadioU's Worst of the Riot.
Loki, episode 2 came out yesterday. Haven't seen it yet. But it was a groundbreaking show. It only had 2 episodes already. It's breaking new ground for Disney Plus, because for whatever reason they decided a few weeks ago they're going to do it on Wednesdays, put out the new episodes every week on Wednesdays instead of Fridays like they have been doing with everything else. And again, apparently it's gone so well after 2 weeks that they are now going to be doing that with all of their new shows going forward. Marvel and otherwise, it'll be new episode drops on Wednesdays.
So if the show's still new and it has episodes that have been coming out, they say that'll still stick to its current schedule.
Okay, that makes sense.
So for The Bad Batch and High School Musical, the series.
Ooh, wow.
That one, they say that'll still release its episodes on Friday. But everything else, starting with Monsters at Work, that one they moved from Friday, July 2nd to Wednesday, July 7th. And it looks like everything past that, except for Black Widow, will be released on Wednesday.
So it's not just even TV shows; it'll be movies as well. Or
they expect that, but for now, it is just the TV series that will come out. That'll just be on Wednesdays.
The more I think about this, I like the idea.
You do?
Because, let's be honest here. When you're watching streaming stuff, you're watching it on your own schedule anyway. Even not streaming stuff, if you're watching other things, unless it's a like sports event that's live, you're just watching it when you feel like it. So it doesn't matter as much for any of our schedules when they do it. But when you have they're maybe trying to make it their own day of the week, where everything else for every other streaming service usually would drop on a Friday. Disney Plus can have their own thing. And then if you are the type of person that watches a new show every week that it comes out, then you have that all of Wednesday and Thursday where you've got that's Loki time.
They feel that people needed a bit more distance between if they were doing weekend stuff. And the big test will be to see, like, will Netflix and other streaming services, will they start changing their release schedule to a Wednesday also?
Or maybe they'll choose a different day of the week for some reason.
They can do that too.
Can you? What a world it would be. You get HBO Max Mondays, Paramount Plus Tuesdays, Disney Plus Wednesdays, Netflix Thursdays, and Hulu Fridays.
I see that. Thankfully, I don't still have all those streaming services. I don't know anybody who can roll with all of them at the same time. That feels a bit overwhelming.
And that wasn't even all of them. Peacock Saturdays.
No one's doing anything
Amazon
with
Prime
that.
Sundays. And then we'll come up with another day of the week for whatever other streaming services there are.
So you need a YouTube day, or you need a day off.
Every day is YouTube day.
That's true. That's all we have. That's how we can only do short bursts of short shows.
You do need one break in there. You need a Sabbath from streaming.
Well, they say for now that it is for Disney Plus going to be Wednesdays, that their release schedule's changing to for all of their upcoming shows that they're doing. And like I mentioned, that should start with Monsters at Work, which has been moved. There's a Turner and Hooch. When you read these things. Turner and Hooch TV reboot.
Is that starring Tom Hanks?
I don't think so.
No,
I doubt it.
I don't think so either. I think he's a bit too old.
Short Circuit has a second season.
Oh, what?
I know. I don't know a lot of this
stuff. What are these properties that they're resurrecting? What was Short Circuit from the 80s and Turner and Hooch?
Well, did they remake it, or I didn't know there was a first season.
Neither did I.
They're still waiting for a release schedule for Marvel's What If.
I don't even know what that is.
There's a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, lots of stuff on the horizon.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.